What's up, you guys? How's everybody doing today? Gotta make sure the mic is good. Um, that's funny. Sorry, I see videos on YouTube about um, the NBA Finals and Draymond Green and all this stuff. It's interesting, but let me just go live really quick. Add on monetization. Sorry, I didn't post any videos yesterday. Uh, Reason why I didn't post any videos yesterday was because I was pretty busy. So yeah, everything looks pretty bad this morning, but still in that form of consolidation, still within 19, 19 and 21. Things could continue to fall. Don't get me wrong. Hmm. um, how's everybody doing this morning? All right, let's see. Let's bring this over here. And let's also bring up Twitch. Morning, good morning. Finally been waiting for this live. Good morning from uh, Somalia. Thank you for watching. First comment, like, y'all late. Hello, Matt, everybody. Good morning, peeps. Good morning. Always sound like, um, wait, always, maybe always sounds, I don't know what, the sound is always great or something. I don't know what you're getting at there. How many NFTs you got, Matt? 4? Smash the like button as soon as you get in here. Lunic is gonna dump. I would imagine we would see pullbacks, but it's good what we are seeing with Lunic because it's up quite a bit. Terra Luna Classic, yeah, it's up another 39%. Basically lost that zero and is has a lot of room, has a comfortable distance between 4 zeros and 3 zeros, so that's really good. Got 130 people on TikTok, guys. Thank you for watching, for showing up here. If you guys want to ask questions about cryptocurrency, let me know. We can always talk about different things and, get things rolling here. Where you get that Xbox shirt from? I'm gonna have to get one. I think it was from Target. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was from Target. I think SHIB will fall really low after Shiberium and using bone. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I don't see that whole point in using bone. I understand, like, they're putting all this emphasis in how bone is going to increase and bone is going to be the next best thing. And we understand that that could be true because of the fact that they have the gas fees, but it could also be false because people don't want them to focus on other coins. It's part of your ecosystem, but it's not what SHIB is about, right? SHIB is about something completely different, and you're trying to push this idea that you have over 1 million holders that are now going to buy SHIB. Bro, you lagging? I'm lagging? I shouldn't be lagging. Oh, it looks like it is bad connection there. That's what it shows. Green, bad connection. Don't know why it would be bad connection. The internet is perfect. It says the internet is perfect. I don't know. Am I lagging on YouTube? Doesn't look like it. We'll get into the screen in a little bit. Sorry if I am lagging. What do you think of Seifu upcoming blockchain? So again, I don't like Seifu just because the video that CoffeeZilla did, it was pretty convincing, which I understand you can argue both sides of things. No problem. I go to YouTube. Well, thank you for watching here. I appreciate it. Or even trying to watch here. But yeah, Seifu, the video on CoffeeZilla was just very convincing. I'm not really the biggest fan of what that's all about. I mean, things could change, but I didn't feel good about it. Everything is falling but Lunic. Yeah, literally everything is falling but Lunic. Matt isn't lagging on my end. Well, thank you. Not lagging for me. My connect good. What's your opinion about NMR? It's not lagging. No. MNR. Mineral. Currently at 0.00. Hopefully this is the right one. Is it MNR or NMR? Yeah, this is good. NMR. Currently at $16.70. It's up 87%. Any type of increase like this, I do not want to be a part of. Right, it has moved quite a bit, and I have no idea why. Going from $8 all the way up to this price of $19, you can see a lot of these currencies that move this much, or these crypto coins that move this much. It's at 54% of the total supply that's out there, which is not horrible. It's not the best, but it's not horrible. What's great is that you're seeing this larger pump up to $100 million market cap, which I don't know what the highest market cap has been. It looks like all throughout history, 500 million has been the highest. So we're seeing a definite pump here. And it's just like every other, coin when you look at history, besides the fact that this is pumping a hell of a lot, up 114% on the day. So looks great. I wouldn't make a move in this because it already has had a huge pump. Volume up 1,613%. It's most likely you missed this pump. It can continue to run throughout the long term and shows a lot of potential, but you missed it, right? If you missed it, don't get stuck in that area to where you will buy high and sell low. You don't want that. But it looks like something that has had a decent pump. I won't make that move right now. I hope they still do something to implement SHIB. Otherwise, burn rate will be slow. Yeah. So I didn't hear anything about the burn rate, right? I've heard a lot about this whole bone situation and how bone is going to be used for gas fees and how it's the best thing here. It's crazy to me that we're seeing this much hype around bone and we're still not seeing anything talked about when it comes to the burns. How is that going to be implemented? Is it going to be implemented through one of those taxes, through one of those fees? Is it going to be something of a manual process? If it is, I don't know if I trust the manual process because they don't even pay you your APY when it comes to the burn portal. They don't even pay you your APY in Shiba Swap. Like they take forever to do anything there. So if you're thinking that they're going to just burn on a given day, I don't think they will. They haven't even paid people they paid people, I guess, the first time on the 17th of May, but then they were supposed to pay every 2 weeks and that didn't work out. So I don't know. It's just not good. Safe Moon is BS. Well, it's not Safe Moon. It's a Seifu that somebody was talking about. It's a different thing. I bought 5.5 million extra Luna now on 7.5 million. Did you buy on this pump or did you buy before this pump? We got this. Teamwork is a dream work. Matt, keep it up. It's legit. Thank you. Hopefully we get to $1. Not lagging on YouTube. Thank you. Someone said something about subscribers. I'm way far back, ain't I? Are we subscribers only? No, we're not subscribers only. Should we be? We can be subscribers only. Yeah, because we're probably gonna get. Yeah, that's always an issue, and we'll do any duration, but people can just subscribe if they want to. Lunic, see back to 100. I mean, that's a little much right now. I would love to see it, but it's not there yet. Let's focus on the small wins first, right? To a penny, to a dollar, those small wins. How you doing? Made some good gains with USTC overnight. You think they're trying to repeg? I hope so. If they repeg, then it really, the only way you can really repeg is if you do bring that supply all the way back down for Lunic. But there's a huge problem with the supply. If that supply comes down, then you can potentially repeg. But right now, I would say no. They are not going to repeg, but they could try to, right? As soon as Lunic does start to make these larger burns, and we see a lot of that supply come off, I think they will try to do that. Face I make when I can't find my glasses. I bought 500,000 Lunix, so do you think I should buy more? See, this is the issue that I talked about in my last video, or not my last video, one of my last videos. People are investing the wrong way. Whenever they see green in a position, they start to invest, and they're like, oh, well, you know what? It's time to make that move. It's not about the green, it's about the red. If you find it at lower lows to where you believe it's going to go higher than that, that's when you invest. I know how it feels because you're investing when something is falling, right? You want to invest when something is falling. You want to invest when something is potentially at its low. But when you see it regain a zero and then have comfortable distance from 4 zeros and 3 zeros, that's not the time where you should be making those investments. You should be making those investments way lower than that. So like a lot of times where things are green, I get a ton of comments and questions where it's like, do I invest now? And my overall thought is like, why didn't you invest yesterday or the day before that? Why did you not see the red as an opportunity and see the green as the gains, right? That's what we should see. But right now, you're missing out on 43% worth of a gain or 30% worth of a gain because you didn't invest at the lows. No offense, but most people will believe, like they'll say, oh, you know what? I invested at these lows, but now it's running. Should I buy more? It should be to the point to where you're investing at where you think the low is. If it does go lower, then you average down and add more because you know it's going to go above where you initially invested, right? But we're doing the opposite to where you're you're dipping your toe in the water at the red days, and then you're trying to go all in on the green days, which is not the way that it should be done. I'm going to skip some things. I'm sorry if I'm skipping stuff, but I am. Missed out on Lunic. I have 5 million coins too. Too little, but it's enough. No, I think it's definitely enough. I think it's definitely enough. I missed out on Lunic. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, it's still at a good price. It's still at a great price, but I would say right now with this pump, I mean, you could potentially see more pumping, and if you do believe that it's going to get to $1 and it's a long-term position for you, then yes, play it out however you want to. But I'm not going to tell people to buy on green days and then it ends up decreasing on them and they end up selling the position the same day. Buy red, look for divergence. It's not in RSI. Matt, Starship official committed to using Lunic and implementing the burn tax. That is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. Whoops. I don't know what I'm doing here. Did they? Was this on Terra Rebels Discord? I haven't paid attention to it. Terra Luna Classic accepted as payment in Starship universe. Also, 1.2% of all Lunic payments to be burnt. Terra Luna Classic is accepted as payment inside Starship universe with a 1.2% tax burn in and the largest new metaverse Starship universe. As a result of UST depeg from the dollar, the the stablecoin Luna was forced to issue billions of its partner token and preserve equilibrium algorithmically billions of dollars in worth of wiping days to supply. Okay. I believe that Terra would react to burning some extra Luna to restore the peg and hence restore the value of the currency of their currency. In this place, a hard fork announced that would identify Lunic as the originating token with the initial supply stablecoin. Okay, 1 billion. Where Starship released a teaser showcase gameplay footage, the next biggest metaverse ever created. Metaverse, wow, that's insane. I'm trying to get to the 1.2. According to the press release, Starship's collaboration with Lunic has led to the implementation of the cryptocurrency as payment method inside the ecosystem, which means that it will burn 1.2% of the total amount of Lunic, which is received for these payments. What's the potential revenue to go through there? It's probably not insanely high. I understand it's a big metaverse, but I don't know what's the potential revenue or potential volume to go through there. Lunic implemented Starship ecosystem as one of the form of payments, burning 1.2% of all Lunic received for these payments. Additionally, Prop 3568, which proposed 1.2% burn tax, was approved by voters on Sunday. Well, that was a while ago. So this must be from... Huh. Wasn't it approved a while ago? Or I guess not fully approved? I don't know the details of that. Like token holders, this will begin to diminish the number of current tokens when they are traded. Finding a practical use for Lunic is timely, and a new partnership between Starship and Luna reinforces the basis of their respective ecosystems. So that's really good. That's really interesting. I do want to know what the potential volume will be throughout that metaverse, if it's one of the largest metaverses out there, obviously besides Meta. But that's pretty big. That's pretty big. I can't wait until things do, like, these burns get implemented and all the people that are like, hey, Lunic's not going anywhere, it's not going to burn off any tokens, it's not going to sit in any place. We obviously see that this could be that next best thing. This could be something that takes off well before Shiba Inu does, and that's because they actually understand what we want. They actually understand what the community is asking for, and hopefully getting this back to some form of normalcy. And if it has a large use case behind it, not just the algorithmic peg between the stable coin and the coin, right, and Luna or Terra or Lunic, right, I would hope that we find that repeg, and then we also find some stability, right? And this is a way of getting that stability. If you have a utility. Guys, we have 600 people here. If you guys can hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm not even showing anything on my screen, guys. You didn't even tell me. So yeah, this is great. Terra Luna Classic accepted as payment in Starship Universe, and also 1.2% of all Lunic payments to be burned. Don't know the potential revenue, but the Rebels are working on more and more of these utility collabs. So that is, I mean, I am just shocked with what we are seeing from Terra Rebels. Like I've heard nothing but great things. I've seen nothing but great things, and I'm just so shocked as to somebody's actually taking the lead here, or a team is taking the lead here, and jumping on the opportunity to where the community is telling them what they want, and they're listening to the community. They're able to build things, and like you said, doing more and more to create utility for Luna, because it's not just about burning the coins in any way. It's about um, seeing the coin and using it, and also being able to create value within that position for the people that are holding it, for the investors that are holding it. And it's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Need Luna to just go to Ascent. I'm sure we would all be happy. Yeah, of course. And the funny thing is, a penny at the current stages. So if we look at Terra Classic, a penny at the current stages is really a $65 billion market cap, which is very high. It puts it in the range of being at the current rate. If you look at all cryptocurrencies, it would put it somewhere in between Tether and USDC, and that's where it would be, right? Because Tether's at 66 billion, and this would have to be at a $65 billion market cap in order to get to a penny, which is not crazy. It's just definitely difficult to get to. But if you're looking at obviously 10 cents or a dollar, you're looking at either 600 billion or $6 trillion dollar market cap. But if you obviously decrease that supply every single day, we're seeing $1 billion in volume. Again, if we see, let's actually go over here. If you see $1 billion in volume, not not $350,000 in volume, but $1 billion in volume, right? If we change this, I think this is it. If we change this and look at this as I think that's 1 billion. $1 billion in volume, that's $12 million. And at the current rate where we're doing it, multiplied by 0.000, or might be divided by 0.12 or 13. Not that. Let's divide that. Well, we're looking at, what is that, 92 billion that we're burning off per day. I mean, is that not phenomenal if we can burn that off per day by seeing $1 billion in volume that's going through, 1.2% of $1 billion? And most likely, if we know that we're burning off 1.2%, a lot of people are more inclined to buy into the position. So that 1 billion could easily turn into not only 1 billion, but 2 billion or 3 billion. And looking at how much you can burn off, depending on what the price is, because if the volume obviously increases, the price may increase as well. And this is what this is all about. And if you see it somehow continue to burn and get up to a point to where we're at 0.225 or something, we're still burning off billions. But the more this volume increases, the more that we end up burning off in dollars. But the more that the price increases, the more that we are, or the less that we're burning off. So it's kind of like an even split there. So hopefully we can stay around that 100 billion coins that we're burning off per day. So every 10 days, we're basically burning off $1 trillion. That would be phenomenal. Thank you for subscribing, whoever subscribed. I think somebody subscribed. Raymark, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see that type of stuff. Guys, we have about 700 people here, and we only have 200 likes. So 350 likes would be great. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. It helps out so much. It really does. Luna, $200 this year. I'm a part of Anonymous. I hope you're right. I can tell you what, it'll make a lot of people wealthy. It'll make a lot of people happy about seeing these gains. And the crazy thing, I have my setup. I have exactly what I'm going to do. M. Kriegs, I haven't seen you here in a while, in such a long time. I appreciate you being here. Just bought 1 billion SHIB with some of my Lunic profit, so that's kind of cool. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. I really hope that they do something big for SHIB. We need a team like the Terra Rebels for Shiba Inu, because what they're doing over in SHIB is just not, it's not it. And it's not SHIB itself, it's the ecosystem that they're building. It's just not it, right? Everything that they're building, they're gathering up hype from the SHIB community to say that somehow, some way we might have SHIB as a, holy shit, how did that get louder? It's fucking loud as hell. Jesus. Gotta cut that off. Thank you for subscribing, whoever subscribed. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think it's definitely something we have to look at. Um, because we just need something better for Shib. Um, wait, wouldn't burning 92 billion take around 120 days? Sorry, you're right. You're right. it would take it would take not that many days. The problem is that if you're talking about for to burn a trillion, yeah, because there's a thousand billions in a trillion. So if you're burning off 100, yeah, if you're burning off 100, it would take 10 days. Yes, so it would take. Where are we at? We have seven. It would be like 440 days, something like that. It would take a while. It would take a long time, but not crazy long time to where it's going to take. Um, I don't know what I said there, but I feel like I said it's going to take 10 days for it to burn off. It would take a longer time than that. But the more that the price increases, the more difficult or the less coins that you can burn. But the higher the volume increases, the more dollars you can burn. So technically, the more coins you can burn. Does any of the exchange platforms already implement the burn mechanisms? I don't believe so, not yet. Why Lunic not on Coinbase? I don't know. I don't know why it's not. Ask Coinbase. That's their that's what they have there. I'm sure it will be at one point, but not now. Um, $1 Lunic, how long? It might take a while. It could take anywhere from a half a year to 2 years, I would say. And that's like, yeah, I would say probably a half a year to 2 years. It could take even shorter than that, depending on what the volume ends up being. Because if the volume is crazy, like if people see the potential and the volume ends up going to $10 billion in volume, which is totally doable, and it may sound ridiculous, but you understand that some of these, when we were seeing, crazy volume, we would see Bitcoin, at what, $24 billion in volume. You see Ethereum at $14 billion in volume. You could see BNB at $1.2 billion in volume. You can see Shiba Inu. Let's see where Shiba's at. $500 million in volume, $725 million in volume for Tron, right? Things do have pretty significant volume changes. So if we could see the hype behind it and the potential behind it, people will buy into it. Can one explain when classic volume is 989 million is more than the market cap of 858? You're saying, can someone explain why the volume is higher than the market cap? Volume doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see positives and negatives. Or sorry, it doesn't mean that you're going to see all positive. You're going to see positives and negatives. So even though you have that volume, that could also be a sell, right? You could see $1 billion in volume and you could see the market cap collapse, right, to a way lower level because you had volume that went through, but it's sell volume or short volume, right? So that's the difference maker and why the market cap can be lower than the volume. Typically, you're not seeing a ton like that, but if it is a negative market, you're going to see the volume be a lot lower than the market cap. Wait, market cap be a lot lower than the volume. We're almost at 300 likes, so thank you guys for hitting the like button. Looks like my washer is done. What's your price prediction for Shiba after launching Shiberium? It depends. If it's like it is, I don't really see Shiba moving a hell of a lot. What do you think the reason is for the pump? speculation, I guess, and more information there. You know, seeing Lunic accepted as payment, seeing the potential 1.2 burn, 1.2% burn that's going through. That's really what I see as like the big news, something that would bring more people into it. But that's it. SEC would have so many rich people that they had to do damage control. True. They would have to find one, the wallets and all that. They would have to track everything, and that's going to be the issue. If people have wallets and they're not on exchanges, there may be a lot of people that don't even report anything. They don't have the tax information to report it. So yes, they're going to have a bunch of money in their bank account, and they're going to continue to add money from different places to their bank account. But what some of those people will do, not giving anybody ideas, what some of those people will do is have multiple bank accounts and just deposit very small amounts from those places. So Lunic to $1 between half of a year and 2 years. Would Shiba take 2 years to hit a penny? Shiba, I see that. I still have it on my list as it hitting a penny, 2026, year 2026. But it's difficult because when I first made that prediction, there was a lot of things that were not released yet, and people talking about how SHIB would be used as a form of payment within the metaverse. SHIB would be used to pay for metaverse lands, and a certain portion will be burned off. The burn portal would factor in not only just you burning your money, it would have other methods to it, to where we actually are seeing utility or a use case for it. But that didn't happen. Staking and gaining something within SHIB, and you're not really getting paid for that. It's just, there's so many things that were supposed to be positive but turned out to be negative, and that's a huge problem there. So I don't know. And now that we have all these things that are launched in the ecosystem, how is that helping the SHIB community? How is that helping SHIB? Well, it's not. It's not at all. And with Shiberium, it doesn't look like that will help either. I'll tell you what, they've been very quiet lately, though. I've seen little bits and pieces on Shiberium and how it will change the world and all this stuff about, bone and everything, but I've seen not much come from the ecosystem lately. Check out Save the Moon IO. They're going to burn Lunic as well. Well, that's good. Everyone speaks about burning, and it seems none noticed that CS, the circulating supply of Lunic, keeps on pumping. What a joke. There's nothing being added to the supply of Lunic. Understand that there is a circulating supply and a total supply. There's nothing new that has been minted of Lunic. I've learned to not get into positions because of some YouTuber hype, because you will get burned. Absolutely. Absolutely. I never tell people to just invest into position. This is the difference between me and some other people, is that even though I'm talking about Lunic throughout this video, I've talked about how you still want to make sure you're investing at the right point. If you believe in a position, if you think that it has potential movement, potential progression, right, upward progression, then you can get into the position and do a little bit of your own research, right? You can look at other people's research and look at some YouTuber, another YouTuber, get multiple opinions. That's always great. But also make your own decision. If it's not great for you, don't invest into it. I'm not going to tell you to spend all your money in one place. I invested $40. Understand that I invested $40. That's it. And turn that into $6,000, right? And still hold a little over $2,000 worth. I think I can go and check my exchange. I think I still hold $2,000 worth. Let me check my exchange really quick. Was it not crypto.com? It is MetaMask. Um, what's the community pool at now? I don't know. Where's it currently at? It's not giving me the value of what it is. Unable to load balance. Oh. So I don't know what the total amount is. I guess I can do the math. It's probably a little over $2,000, I would say. It's not giving me the value. If we want to be serious about a burn, it's all on CZ owns so much. Yeah, but that can still be in the form of volume, right? If it goes through in volume, let's say he decides to sell everything and let go of everything, and we had a 1.2% burn tax, 1.2% of that, whatever he ends up doing, will burn off. And whatever he holds will obviously gain value, but you can still continually burn as you make those transactions. And as that gets circulated around, you have more transactions and more transactions, which means more taxes and more taxes, right? So yes, you're right. Nobody owns SHIB. We, the community, have to come up with a way to implement a burn tax somehow, some way. True, true. And so many people are depending on what the ecosystem has built. But I think the problem is that we need to build a community. You know, we need that community to come together with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people so that people know what we're trying to build here, right? We need some people that we trust, um, people that have knowledge of, you know, building different coins or building something, right? Shiba Inu itself, we're not going to be able to build a burn tax in because we don't, like, we own it, but we don't own the contract, right? We can't change the contract. Nothing can be changed with it. Outside factors to it, though, can be changed. And that's what they've been doing is anybody can build an ecosystem around Shiba Inu, but nobody owns Shiba Inu. So what they're building with Bone, Leash, Shiboshis, the metaverse, all of these other things, and Shiberium and whatever, is they're building that around their community, right? Their ecosystem that I guess hovers around the name of SHIB, and they're pushing their own products and not improving the value of SHIB. I wonder when Bitcoin will make a move. Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing, but it seems like things are not like they're following Bitcoin, but not to the same level as Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin can drop a lot more than some other positions, and Bitcoin, for a couple of days, from what I've seen, has lost its dominance. You know, it was at 43% and has lost about 1% in dominance over like this last, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe. What helped me more is a 480 proposal. What helped more, the 480 proposal or 368 proposal so far? What's people's opinion? So I would think 3568 just because of how widespread that is. 1.2% of the burn tax. I would say that's probably something that's more that helped in volume and helped in hype and popularity, which is what crypto's all about. I feel like it'll happen today for some reason. Oh, Bitcoin rising. Hopefully you're right. Hopefully we're not going to see this continuation of this downtrend. But for me, I see this as the low point, and you know, dropping as low as it did to 17.7 was 75% drop from its high, and that's close enough to what the normal drop has been over a bear market. Because we saw a 90% drop, an 80% drop, like 84% drop, and now it's 75%. SHIB was created and piggybacked off Dogecoin's success, although they have a strong community, which is crucial. Yeah, I think it's definitely something a little bit different when I look at the two of Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, right? They're both dog coins. Shiba Inu, yes, was piggybacked off of Dogecoin's success because it was the Dogecoin killer, something that can give you a lot of value without even reaching a penny. And that's exactly what it did for a lot of people, especially the person that invested $8,000 into it and turned it into 5 billion, right? That right there is proven success in the process. But now we are looking for this to get to some of these bigger levels of a penny or a dollar or $2 or whatever, right? And it can get there. It's just we need burns, we need outside factors to burn off the coins, and not just regular people. Do you really think we can get a lead dev from Zelda Inu into working on Shib community to build something like that? I remember you talking about it a few weeks ago in the live. Yeah, I was gonna try and see something. I was gonna talk to him about it and see if we can build something um, uh, to actually burn off Shiba Inu, right? And what they've done so far with like Zelda Inu and Zeldaverse and all of that, the launches are crazy. So like we've seen fair launches that have just been amazing and they've grown so much. And if we can have a coin that has a fair launch like that, that can burn off Shiba Inu with that fair launch and then continue in that process throughout time, it can be huge, but you have to implement it the right way, right? They build it, it has to have some sort of use case behind it, or not like a full use case yet, but some sort of thought as to what we're going to do with that coin, because it's not only about burning off the Shiba, because Shiba will be a large portion of that and have that larger tax, right? But you also want to have something else that you're doing with it. Just so that people find value within that coin, so that people continue to buy it, even if they're not looking to burn Shiba, right? You have 1.2 million holders in Shiba. Yes, if you had 1.2 million holders in this new coin that you create, it would be phenomenal. But you also want to see that volume consistently move around. You don't want people to just hold on to the coin, or if they do, then a certain portion of what may be staked or what you get in return ends up going towards the burn as well. So I think they would be the best bet in marketing that in such a big way. So I do want to talk to them. So let me jot that down. Jot that down over here, and we will look at that. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me just type this up. Yeah, because I think if they can build something and show their marketing strategies, and put it like add it to coin market cap right away, do everything that they've done for other positions, but except add just a burn tax into it, it could be huge, right? That could be the launch or the liftoff that we're looking for to see Shiba Inu turn into another thing. This guy doesn't read anything I write. I just read that. I miss everything else. It sounds like you don't hold bone. I don't. I think it's important for these ecosystems to thrive, and bone was said to play a major role since inception. And I'll come down, and so was leash. It was meant to play a major role as well. And the reason why is you look at what they've done with leash so far, and the funny thing is, I understand how they can create something that plays a major role, but if you're creating something off of the back of the Shiba Inu community, the Shiba Inu community is all about improving the value of SHIB, right? It's all about SHIB. It's not about everything else that you have there. It's about improving the value of SHIB. So if you have everything else feeding off one another besides SHIB, where you have bone really feeding off of leash, right? Where you have everything that you're doing within a certain place, and now you're using bone as a fee. You're buying leash or whatever you're doing with it, and you're using Bone as that gas fee, right? You're connecting the two, right? You connect leash to the metaverse. You connect leash to Welly's NFTs. You connect Shiboshis to the metaverse and Shiboshis to Welly's NFTs. And all of these things are intertwined and connecting together. And you see the web chart, it's all forming, but SHIB is left out on the side. The only way it's connected is by having a picture of a dog, right? And they're using the Shiba Inu brand as their launching point. So I understand that Bone was going to be a part of this major role in this ecosystem, but that's the problem, is that SHIB should have had the major role in the ecosystem. SHIB should be the native token, but they're constantly trying to use all the tokens that they created and not have SHIB play any type of major role in it. Everything that they've created has been an extra investment on top of it, right? Ryoshi's vision is an extra investment on top of it. This Shi token is going to be an extra investment on top of it. And that's a stable coin meant to be used as a form of currency. So if you're using that and then end up paying the fees in Bone, SHIB is still left out on the side. So it's literally a strategy to grow a business off of the back of another thing, kind of like what SHIB did, right? SHIB grew itself based off of being the Dogecoin killer. So now this ecosystem is building its whole business off of what SHIB is, right? And they're not connecting anything there. So that's the issue. I understand where you're coming from, but there's a bigger issue. And when it hits 200,000, you'll be happy. Do you think Luna can reach $1? I think it can. It's just when it will and how it will, right? You can profit from Shiba Inu in Shiba Swap liquidity pools. It's an ecosystem. Every token plays a role since its inception. So when you stake on Shiba Swap, what do you receive? Because from what I understand, you receive Bone in rewards. Can the community create? That's not something that, I mean, people do want. Some people, but not majority of the people. Can community create a tangible project with Lunic? Yeah, I mean, you can create a tangible project with Lunic. I think they're in the works. CZ can get people out of the hood if they move the tokens around after 1.2%. Yeah, I think they will. And once you see the value increase, they're probably going to be, it's going to make sense and pressured. They're going to be pressured to push the amount that they have out because the volume would be really good. What if Do Kwon was intimidated by Anonymous and he and his team put all the stolen money back into the community? I mean, that would be good, I guess. How much Luna do you own? Like Luna or Lunic? Because I own 10 of Luna 2.0, but I own, or it might be 100. I think it's 100. I think I own 100 Luna 2.0. I don't know why I said 10. But then I own 20 million, 20.17 million. Okay, fine. I'll log in then. Why does it always log me out? It's ridiculous. I don't got time for this. Whoops. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right. Yeah, I have. Let me bring this up to show you. So, come on. Scroll down and you're going to see 20.17 million Lunic. So, holding on to that for quite some time. And I have my plans. And it's not even a super aggressive plan. If I go into my Terra plan, this is my plan. When it hits 0.003, I'm going to take 2 million out. That's another $6,000. Total profit would be $12,000 at that point. And then when it hits 0.008, right before a penny, I'm going to take another 2 million out. That'll be 16,000. A total that I would gain is 22 for this period of time. But then I also have another 6,000 that I made in the beginning. So that'd be a total of $28,000 that I made from Lunic by itself. Now, when it continues to grow and it goes up to 1 cent, I'm not going to make a move at 1 cent. Will I make a move at a penny? Yes, I'll take out another 2 million. That's $100,000. So it'll be a total of $128,000 in total. So hopefully this all happens within maybe a year. That would be amazing if we could have that happen within maybe 100 days or something like that. But then we start to look at some of the higher price points, and this may take a longer time to end up happening. 20 cents, I would obviously take out, 5 million, take out a good, cool $1 million. And that would be 1.1, 1.12, 1.13 million in total. And then so on and so forth. I would have 9 million left and would only make those moves close to $1. So close to $1, I would pull out 3 million coins that are sold, which is 2.2 million. I'm not being greedy. I'm not a person that's going to be super greedy and looking for this to absolutely or to go to $1 million or $1 and I have 20 million and all of that. Right? It makes me feel more comfortable, and it may end up changing to where I don't pull out 1 million or 5 million here. I may end up pulling out only another 2 million. And if I pull out another 2 million, then that leaves me with $400,000, which is perfectly fine. The only reason I wanted to take out $1 million is because I want to put that into some place where I can gain a decent amount of passive income, whether it ends up being 10% or whatever per year. I just want to be able to gain at least $100,000 per year off of those investments and not have it in my retirement accounts. I just want to be able to gain it as a form of spending and a form of income, to where I report that income and use $50,000 as just living expenses, and then everything else that I make would go towards just fun and other investments. But yeah, I mean, that leaves so much more on the table, right? To where at the end I could have 4 million and depending on what this price ends up getting to, I could pull out $1 million every year, right? And that's what I'm looking for, because no matter what I would like to see is always being able to gain that income. And if I could pull out $1 million or $2 million every year and throw it into an investment to where I can gain a massive amount of passive income, I will take that. So that's really my plan. And plans do change as time goes on, depending how fast things are moving, depending how much has been burned. Like, let's say this. If I see it get to this point, right, where it gets to this point and it's like, oh, well, you know what? Do I want to take a massive amount of profit, or do I want to take profit here? I may end up taking profit there, but I also might not take profit there, because it depends how much we are burning. If we're burning a massive amount and no matter what, or you're going to see it get to a penny, then I know that there's going to be an amount that we are burning off every single day, and we have the timeline of when we're going to get there. Then this goes away, and when we reach 0.008 or something, that's when I make that first initial sale, which will be 16,000 instead of doing this one, and then that ends up getting deleted. So now we're really only factoring in the 16,000 that I'm gaining, 100,000 that I'm gaining. It depends how fast everything moves, right? So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I'm so hungry. Matt, are you still holding AMC? Yes, I'm holding over 1,000 shares of AMC. I have my AMC in Webull, and then I also have my AMC in Fidelity. I took some positions out of my Roth IRA. I didn't take them out of my Roth IRA. I just sold them from my Roth IRA and bought AMC at some of these lows. And now I'm just waiting for that to move again, because it's lower than where I took my initial investment, because I took my initial investment plus a little bit of profit. But now what I'm looking at is potentially something a lot bigger. right? If things do run and things should make moves, but hasn't really made moves lately for GME or AMC. I don't know what AMC is doing today, but yeah, I'm still holding ZOM, still holding SOS, still holding AMC, still holding GME, still holding um, uh, some options plays that are actually going to come up in January. So AMC was down 5% yesterday, down 1% in the pre-market. So do you still wait? Do you do this full time, or do you have a job too? No, I quit my job the in February and started doing all of this full time. Um, because one, I was making a decent amount in investments, here and there. In the beginning, it was a lot more, but as the markets have fallen down a heavy amount, um, there's a lot of unrealized losses there. Still hasn't really gotten to a point to where I broke even or anything, but definitely a lot of unrealized losses. But when it comes to YouTube, I'm doing this full time. Investing, YouTube, I want to quit my job. Yeah, I find it amazing that I have so much time to do stuff, but still not having time. Like I like the fact that I have a free schedule, but um, it's still difficult sometimes to get a lot of videos up or do something with my other channels or anything like that. But I still find myself very busy because I'm always trying to do something extra. So whether I'm like cleaning the house or whether I decide that now I want to take Harper out of daycare for that day and we go see a movie or something, I get to spend more time with the kids, see them grow up. Even though I'm working, like I try to work when at times where the kids are not here, and when the kids are here, I'm playing with them and having fun with them, going to amusement parks, spending more money in different places. I feel like we are spending more money since I've been home. But I treat investments as an expense. Have you heard when Binance is going to implement the burn of 1.2%? The burn on chain has been implemented, but is also yet to go live. So no, I haven't heard when they're going to do something like that. I haven't heard when any exchange is going to implement the 1.2%, but I don't know if that has been fully implemented, if it has been coded in. I'm not 100% sure about that. Um, but that's interesting. We'll have to get some clarity. I do look into it and see if there's any type of clarity in the day, but I don't have any type of clarification. Guys, we have 729 people, almost 730 people. If you guys can hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. We're at 412 likes. Um, we do want to, I think, stay live a little bit longer today and just ride it out. Let me know your opinion of this. What's your plan with Luna? Tell me exactly what you plan on doing. Do you plan on holding until a certain point? How much do you? Well, first, just let me know how much do you hold right in Luna. If you see my screen right here, you see how much I hold. 20.1 million, basically. If you if you hold a certain amount, what do you plan on doing? Do you plan on holding till $1 and then making your first sale, or are you going to make your first sell around 10 cents, 20 cents, or do you have multiple strategies or multiple price points like I do? I'll speak to Happy Guy to Crypto, Matt, and find out, dude. Yeah, he has a lot of information because he does a lot of research into Lunic and Luna. And for some reason, I feel like I don't have the same access um, as he has. So I believe on the 22nd of August, it goes live for the 1.2% burn. Um, any idea of CRO? Well, that would be amazing. First of all, um, I can't wait for that to happen to see how that gets, um, how much that affects Lunic Any idea if CRO will go through a burn before the end of 2022? I'm not sure, because their burns are surprising. When they do burns, and they did the 70 billion burn, it's a surprise. They're not going to tell you, because if they tell you, people are going to buy in and then sell off when it does, and when they do the burn, because the price is just going to increase, right? They want to get in. A lot of people want to get in before the news happens, right? Not a buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing, but technically a buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing. They want to make sure they get into that play when the rumor happens, when you have the breakdown of when this is going to happen. But when the news breaks, when it actually burns off the coins, well, now people start to sell, because everything's going to come down from there, even though everything should go up. But that's how people are wired, right? They want the quick gain, and they don't care about the home run. They'll just take the two bases. You know, I don't really know baseball that much. He'll just take a double or a single. Even though they had the space to run, they didn't do it. They just sat there on first. Did I say that right? I don't really know baseball that well. Your voice is still staying strong. Don't get off yet. Yeah, we're gonna stay on here for a while. Man, my plan is to stop buying SHIB and buy bags of Lunic. 200 million holding strong. That is amazing. You're able to hold 200 million. See, this is the idea, is that people hold way more than I do. They hold way more than I do, but they obviously invested more than I do, or more than I have. And some people hold less than I do and still invested more than I did. And the only reason I'm not making that move is because I invested at a certain point. 20 million is enough. I even thought when I held 100 million of Shiba Inu, that was enough. And I still think it could be enough. I still think 10 million could be enough, depending how you play it out. So it's amazing to see that people, are going strong on this. Just don't overdo it. No one needs to hold. I mean, there's probably people that hold 1 billion already, but you don't need to hold 1 billion at this moment. You don't physically need to, because you can still make out on these deals. Understand that the person on YouTube that's talking about this only holds 20 million and sees the potential in 20 million. You're holding 60 million Lunic. That's great. You're holding 8 million, and I will sell if it goes to like 1 cent. You're going to sell everything or just a portion? Adrian. Lost a lot of money. Wait, 60 million Lunic. Thoughts on a USTC at the minute? USTC is up quite a bit, right? So it's up to 7 cents. This is definitely fluctuating, because over the last, let's say 7 days, we've seen this get up to 5 cents before decreasing down to 2 cents, 2.5, increasing back up to about 4.5 cents, close to 5 cents again, and then skyrocketing up to about 9 cents. So it's a long way from repegging, but we'll have to see. I know a lot of people still do have faith. There's a couple of people that still do have faith, but other people, or most people that are getting into it, are in it for whatever the gains will be, right? Going from 1 penny to something a lot bigger is huge, right? If you invested $100 to get, I don't know, 10,000, or you invested $1,000 to get 10,000, or whatever you ended up investing, right? You have a chance to 10x or 100x your investment, or 50x your investment. And that's a great deal. Even if it is a stable coin and you don't know when it will repeg, or if it will repeg, it still gives you that potential, right? And what you've seen in the last couple of days, up 185%, it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. 200 million. I'm keeping them until all is back to $100. You have to take some profit at some point. So if you hold, you said 200 million. If you hold 200 million and it gets to a price point, right? You spent probably less than maybe hopefully less than $20,000 where the price is, right now, 0.0001. Let's say you spend it at 0.0005, 0.0005, right? $10,000. Maybe you spent that much. So you hold 200 million. If it gets to a point to where that 200 million is now at a penny, it's not even at $1, and that's worth 1.9 million. You're telling me you're not going to take any of it? You're not even going to take a portion or your initial investment? Take 100,000 because you can throw it in on another investment. The problem is that we don't know what the future holds exactly. We know that we have the burn implemented. We know that we're going, or the burn will be implemented, and we know that we're going to burn off some, hopefully a lot. And it gets to a penny, right? Comfortably to a penny, right? You're telling me with $2 million that you now have in unrealized gains, you wouldn't take even a portion of it, like not even $100,000 of it. $100,000 would be what 10 million? So 10 million, you would take $100,000. That would still leave you with 190. I would take $1 million at $1. See, now that's, I look at that, no offense. I look at that as me, like if I did that, I would feel greedy. I would feel greedy because you're leaving 200 million on the table. If you take $1 million at $1, that's 1 million, right? You're leaving 199 million left on the table, right? If you let it get to $1 and it's at 200 million and you only take 1 million at $1, that is insane. That's leaving $199 million on the table. Am I right by saying that? So yeah, I don't know about you, but all of these portions here, every single cent that it hits, every single 10 cents it hits, I'm taking another million. That means every month you could profit $1 million out of it. If I get hungry, I might take 500K at 10 cents. All right, yeah, that works out. Taking $500,000 worth at 10 cents, I'll take that. But I would take a smooth million, maybe two, because I know I would have to pay taxes, short-term capital gains tax. So I would probably take 2 million. But again, this is all speculation. I mean, you have 200 million coins. That's phenomenal. But play this out the right way, man. Play this out the right way. No joking, I'm leaving it in there. Seriously, don't make a mistake. Not saying that it won't continue to increase, but what you're doing is not only taking something out of this, because let's say you take a 2 million out of it. Yes, it could be so much more, but that's also a factor of greed, which is in the human race. Like I've been greedy plenty of times, but I've learned from that, and that's why I don't do that anymore, because anything could happen. And it could become less valuable for you, right? Anything could happen. So yes, I believe in it up to $1. I believe in it up to 5. I believe in it up to 10. I can see the way that it gets up there, but me holding 20 million, I'm going to be making these moves as it does get to a crazy unrealized gain. But that's just me. Everybody can play it how they want to play it. I've learned from situations, good time to put an ad. That's why they just had a pop-up saying put in an ad, because you haven't put in an ad in a while. Put your short-term gains in a trust and set yourself up and take it in 30 years. Exactly. Let's say this whole thing right here, getting to $100 takes 5 years for it to play out. It might take a little bit less, but let's say 5 years for it to play out. If you take 2 million at this point, you throw it into an index fund, gain 10%, you're going to gain $200,000 every year to live off of. So I mean, that's a no-brainer. Whenever you get to a point to where you can take $1 million or more comfortably, you're going to gain so much more in the end. We're so close to 500 likes. Yes, we are. 483 likes, guys. I want to thank all you guys for being here because we have 754 people here. So I appreciate everybody that's here, everybody that's, communicating. I know I'm not answering everybody, but I do appreciate all of you. How much do you think you make yearly roughly doing this? Have you ever come close to not being able to pay your bills? No. I comfortably, to a point to where we spend way too much on our credit card, on our Amex cards. And I've been telling Erica that we spend too much. But the funny thing is we go out and spend more. So I never would have thought that we would have literally our Amex bill is the same as what our normal bills are. And our normal bills, pretty expensive. So not all the time. It's just some days or some months that the Amex bill is just way higher than other things. And for the last 2 months, it's been like that. But no, I've never been to a point to where we can't pay our bills. It's never happened. Because I make twice as much as I did at my job. So when I worked as a senior financial analyst at a hospital, I make twice as much as I do there, and it can potentially be a lot more if I put a little bit more time into it. But I don't want to overdo it and put too much time into it and then, be fatigued with creating videos, because I like creating videos. I like talking to you guys, and I don't want to sit here and overdo it and do 8 hours a day just sitting and streaming all day. I want to because I like to talk to you, but yeah, never had an issue paying bills because this year we're on track with just YouTube, one channel's worth of revenue, on track to over 170 maybe, yeah, something like that. I've set a race for Shib and Luna to see what breaks me or makes me first. Just kidding. I will take some profit, dude. Your spread's good. A penny, 10 cents, a dollar. Yeah. So yeah, you have to take something. I mean, that's where it's at. If you see it at $10 million and you haven't taken profit yet, that's tough to hold on to. You're like, I hold a position that's worth $10 million. People would be like, sell it immediately. But if you sell, let's say, 20% of that, I know how that sounds, but you sell 20% of that, let's say 40 million, that's $2 million, right? You're going to pay, you're probably going to put half of that to the side for taxes because you want to pay taxes. 1 million of that can go into an index fund, which you're not going to probably pay the full half in taxes. It's probably going to be somewhere around 40%, depending where you live. It might be more. If it's California, you'll basically pay everything that you realized in profit. But you'll take 1 million of that and throw it into an index fund or something where you can gain passive income every single month and live off of the $100,000 or $120,000 or $200,000 per year with that $1 million in that investment account, right? That's what the wealthy do, is they throw it into a place to where they can gain a certain amount of something that can cover their living expenses. Right? Even if it's 5%, you feel like you can gain $50,000 per year. That's amazing. Yes, you're going to pay taxes on those, but you're still going to gain something per year. And if you can keep throwing things into investments like that, you end up gaining a passive income, every single month to where it's like $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, and you can comfortably live off of that and never have to work again. Never have to do a single thing in your life besides sit here and watch Matthew Perry on YouTube, right? So I hope that's the case. What do you think about Avalanche? I like Avalanche. I've invested in Avalanche a couple of times and made money from Avalanche. I've also invested in Avalanche in order to get into Time Wonderland, and that didn't really go too well. I lost like $200 on it, which I've heard people lost a lot more money than I did. But it's okay because I made up that money on a different play. I forget what it's called now. I think it starts with a J, but I forget what it's called. But it was a different play like that, and lost $200, gained $200 on the other one, so basically broke even. Hey Matt, any idea what the hell is going on with USTC? Not even Happy Caddy Crypto has any idea about why it's constantly pumping, and he's directly connected to Terra Rebels. Yeah. So it's not 100% as to why it is happening, but I would imagine it's because when you see Lunic that's making a move and something that was previously tied to Lunic, it's just like anything here. So you see Lunic run, you're also going to see Terra 2.0 run, even though it doesn't really have that connection within the ecosystem. It does. And you also see USTC run as well. It's all based on connection. So people invest in this and then they're like, well, what if I invest in USTC because it's at 2 cents? What if it repegs, right? I'm investing, let's say you invest $1,000 into it. What if it repegs? That's a 50x on your $1,000, a $50,000 gain on that investment because it went from 2 cents up to $1 again. So it's more on the speculation that we will see everything get back to a form of normalcy and see Lunic back to some of these levels of $50 or $100 and then be repegged or the algorithm be established again to USTC, which repegs to $1. So it's more on it's more on just speculation, in my opinion, and that's what the crypto market is built on. It's like, hey, if this runs, do you think this would run as well? Well, if it does, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity, so they get into it, you know. So that's what I'm thinking it's about. It's not anything that shows any type of statistics behind it. It's just a form of one thing's pumping, so the next thing is also pumping, right? I have 150K Lunic. You think that's enough? Enough to become like insanely wealthy, or you're saying um, enough to, basically like pay off your house or pay off your car or something? Because 150K, yes, if you're looking for it to get to $1, right, what everybody else is doing, it's going to take you a while to gain life-changing amounts of money. So you're going to need that to go to like $100, and then you can see that crazy change while everybody else is probably profiting well before that. So I think it's enough for something, but it's not enough to become wealthy in like more of the short term than long term. Um, because I think seeing this to $1 is kind of, or seeing this to a penny is the first step. And then seeing it to, half a penny is that next step, and seeing the potential of it getting up to a dollar or $10 or $20 or $100 is that last and like final step, right? So 150 is enough for something, but it's not enough to become insanely wealthy. Do you hold Lunic and USTC? I don't hold USTC. I was thinking about it when it was at 2 cents yesterday, but I didn't. I didn't buy him. It was $1,000. He was buying BTC for not 10. I don't know. You're talking to somebody else, I guess. As a trader, I have no choice. I have no choice to jump into Luna Classic. I mean, you do have a choice. UST off again. Peg incoming. I hope you missed a super chat. Did I? I'm sorry if I did. The ones that come through that are $2, they don't pop up on the top of my chat. So anything that's not saying give me more, but anything that's $5 or more pops up on the top of my chat, so I can click it right away, and automatically I read it as soon as it comes through. Hey Matt, starting my own channel. Any tips or advice? Yeah. And so don't be afraid about things being absolutely perfect. There are a lot of people that I've taught and walk through the steps, and they've tried to make everything absolutely perfect. It does not need to be perfect. If you make a mistake in the video, you can always fix it with another video, which is a good thing to do, right? Show your mistakes, show how you fix them, show how you own up to them. It creates transparency, and people start to believe what you are saying, or that you know what you are saying, because you own up to your mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, and I don't know everything. I show that I don't know everything. And when someone tells me or says, hey, what's the deal with this? I don't make up something, right? I tell them either I know it or I don't know it. And there may be something in between where there's some form of speculation, but you always have to be honest with everybody. So don't feel like everything has to be perfect. You don't have to have the best camera. You don't have to have the best audio quality. You want to try and have okay picture quality and okay audio quality, just so that people understand and the words line up and all that stuff, so that people don't get turned off by your video. But yeah, that's the first step, is just do what you can in the beginning, and you don't have to spend a crazy amount of money in order to make everything absolutely perfect. Yeah, that's definitely a killer of a lot of people's channels, because they always try and like edit it right away, and they edit everything to make it sound absolutely perfect, and it doesn't need to be that way. Some of the best or the most successful YouTubers out there, like Graham Stephan and Andre Jick and everybody, started out just recording one take and just recording a massively long video, not understanding YouTube at all. So just hit the record button. Talk about what you feel is best. Make sure you put a lot of emphasis on titles and thumbnails, right? Without titles and thumbnails, people will not click on your video. And you have to make sure it's something that draws people in a little bit. Not clickbaity, but draws people in. I spread all my spending across 3 different credit cards to maximize my cashback rewards. I do that as well. Usually I do that. I know with a lot of times we end up using the platinum card a lot, and we have a ton of points on there, and we use those points. Like I think a while ago we used them, not a while ago, in order to go to Pensacola, Florida, we flew using our rewards. It's funny when they get sniped at the same time. I don't know what that means. So I'm going to skip all the way back down to the bottom, because I feel like I'm so far away from there. I bought 11K worth of Luna at an average of 0.00006. How long do I hold it? You bought 11K worth of Luna? So 11K worth of Luna at 0.0000006 would be less than 200 million. How long do you wait? So it depends, right? Let me see. Is that 190? A little bit less than 200. So it's probably 190, or maybe 180. Yeah, something around there. Right. So you probably have about 180 million. You don't have to wait that long, right? I think we're going to start to see massive burns coming soon. And when we see that potential, it raises the question, like, when do you actually take your first bit of profit? And I think once you hit like close to 2 million, it's okay to take something, right? I'm not saying that you have to take $1 million at that point, but take something. $100,000 will sit well, and then everything else that you have from there. So let's say it's at 1.4 and you wanted to take a little bit. Let's take $100,000. Let's say we're taking a good 30 million. That's 240. So you could take either like 30 million or 20 million and sit on 150 million, and then you could have 240,000 that you throw into other investments that you believe in. Because the problem is that when people stay on one investment and they have so much into one investment, well, now you're not able to capitalize on other investments because you don't really have the capital there in order to throw it into other investments. So if you take 240,000, you can now throw that into other investments that you want. And it could be another 11,000 you throw into something that's speculative, or you throw 100,000 into a passive income position. But either way, you're able to capitalize on other investments that you have along the way, whether it takes a year or it takes 10 months, right? You're capitalizing on those investments. Then you leave 150,000, 150 million in there, and I would probably wait till it hits somewhere around above 7 million in order to take at least $1 million. I would probably take 2 at that point, somewhere around 2 million. So let's say you take 5 or 50 million, maybe 2.5 million is what you end up taking. You can take $1 million, throw it into an index fund. You're left with 100 million that's left. I don't know why I said left twice, but you're left with that. And then you can take whatever profit you want as you go forward, but you don't need to be greedy. I understand how you holding 180 million and it gets to $1 and you're holding 180 million dollars. It's insanely difficult for you to hold hundreds of million or tens of millions of dollars for that long in a position that's an unrealized gain. There's no way in hell that I'm doing that. Especially if I'm not taking money or any type of realized gains along the way. You have to, right? It makes you feel better about what you're holding, because even though you're holding 25 million here, and that's burning a hole in your pocket because you can do so much with that 25 million. And there's so many people around you that are like, can I have $1 million? Can I have this? Can I have that? Well, you're don't give anybody anything. That's how people lose their millions of dollars. People have to, work for what they get. So it depends what it is. Like, obviously for me, I would love to just go and buy my mom a house and just not have her worry about that stuff. But obviously right now I don't want to pay a mortgage for her. But if I could pay the whole thing off as a small little house that she could stay in, I mean, that would be great. And she doesn't have to pay any rent. But that's the things that you do there. And the problem is that once you do one good deed that you feel like is a good deed, everybody else asks you for so much more. So it's definitely a slippery slope that you get there. But if you can pocket, $2.7 or $3 million and pay a certain amount in taxes, $1 million can go into an index fund. You can live off of whatever you can live off of there. So the $1 million that's in an index fund, live off the $100,000. People start asking you for stuff and you end up making that mistake and giving them all of that stuff, all of the money. You now have $100,000 every single year to live off of no matter what. So it at least sets you up for, kind of failure there. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in these chats, if you do end up making millions of dollars, which it's looking like it could be a certainty with burns that are happening. There's going to be a lot of people that quit their job. I get mad every day I wake up and don't see $1 million in there. So what happens when you do? That's the thing. It's like, it's going to be, you think that it's like it's easy to just look at $1 million and go, all right, well, I'm happy with that. But it's not easy, because we've seen crypto crash and we've seen all of these gains go away, right? Oh no, Matt Perry found out about Lunic, time to sell. I've been here since the beginning. So I don't know if you knew about this, but I've been here since the beginning. I literally invested at the lowest point. Have you watched my channel ever? Like, I have so many videos from literally the beginning. I just found out about Lunic. Oh man. If I make millions off crypto, I would buy everyone in here Cub Food Donuts. I don't even know what that is. Are they good? I don't know what that is. I'll take one. I got 2 million right before the crash. Like right before the crash from where? So you bought it like, did you buy it like 1 cent or something? Or you buy it less than 1 cent? Buy Luna now. It's headed to 1 cent. Got that information from inside sources. It looks like USTC is actually leading Lunic though. It's not. It's not. USTC is not leading Lunic. It's USTC is reacting to um, what Lunic is potentially going to do. I will keep going to work and act a fool till they fire me and give you like a severance pay. That would be amazing. Get severance. Yeah, you get your severance pay. You know what? You know what will be the craziest thing is if people go to work and they're like, you know what? I want to be an investor in this business, and you end up being an investor, and then uh, you change everything around. You know, you're like, I don't really like this person as manager. Let's push this person to this position here. You end up owning 50% of the business. Like, say if you work at a small business and you want to buy the business or be an investor in the business, now you can go, like, if I wanted to right now, I can go to um, a restaurant that I worked at, and I could actually ask to be an investor in that business. And I'm pretty sure I could be an investor in that business and own a larger portion of that business. But I don't know if I want to get into the restaurant industry. But I know I could invest, and I know I have the money in order to do so. And you know, I could easily own a portion of a restaurant right now. But if everything comes to pass and this ends up happening, and I can throw $1 million into a more of a short term index fund account for me and our family, um, then everything else that comes on top of it, I would find a way to invest into maybe that business as well. And I would still be doing this full time. I would let you know how much the business has made, all of that stuff. Matt, can you explain a little bit more what Krill Coin is? So I didn't invest really for the use case and behind Krill Coin, because from what I understand, Krill as a platform itself, as a way of tracking everything. And if you go into um, their website, you can get into what Krill is, what Krill.io is. I believe they reached out to me as a like they wanted to do like some sort of a partnership or something, um, but I never heard back from them. Maybe I need to check my Instagram DMs. But yeah, I invested in Krillcoin for the potential and what I've seen in the volume rather than what the use case is, because it's not even in the top 100. Usually within the top 100, that's where I start to worry about what the use case is. The top 25 is where the use case really becomes a huge factor. Um, so that's not the reason why I invested into it. Invested into it because of the potential based on the circulating supply, the volume, the amount of markets that are there, the potential push that we've seen with no type of um, like no type of like crazy volume behind it. It has millions of dollars in market cap, tens of millions of dollars in market cap, and you're seeing so much volume that goes through, so much positive volume that goes through in a given day. Right now, I think it's down to like 50 cents after being up to 90 cents. And we've seen a couple of pumps where it has gone up to 180 or $1.80. um, and we've seen a pump to where it went up to $5. But eventually, we're going to see that larger pump. Hello, Matt. Can you please share your Excel spreadsheets, please? And thank you in advance. So I haven't shared the Terra spreadsheet, which I can update and share on my Patreon, because I've shared that. I've shared the Shiba Inu one on my Patreon. But if you want to just take the Shiba Inu one instead of, um, if you already have this Shiba Inu one, it's basically the same thing. All you have to do is change the figures, change the prices. Don't update any of these. Don't update this number, this number, this number, this number, or you can change anything in coins sold, but don't update this. All you have to do is update the prices to reflect what Terra will be, and update the coins that you have, and you'll be fine. And it'll be a Terra breakdown. So yeah, love these spreadsheets though. They make life a breeze. I have 21 million Luna, plan to sell at $1 and buy a decent house with a 2-car garage and a 5 bedroom. Um, about 2.3 million US. See, that's um, I can't do that because for me, one, you're gonna have to pay half of that money that you make in taxes. Especially, I don't know where you're buying this house that has just a 2-car garage and 5 bedroom costing 2.3 million or $2 or $3 million. Do you live in California or do you live in uh, the New York or something? I feel like New York, you're paying $2 million for a studio apartment or something. But that's not something that I would do because one, you're paying half of that in taxes. That leaves 10 million for yourself. And then you're going to basically take 20 to 30% of what you gained and put it into a house that might have insanely high taxes to it. So you would still have to pay the taxes within it. And that would be a problem because you're taking a large portion of that and throwing it into a house which you don't know if you can fully sustain without those millions of dollars, you know? So for me, I need to establish something a lot bigger and make sure that the monthly income that comes in is 90% higher than what the cost of that house is, right? So I would establish something to where you establish index funds, you establish other investments, you find different jobs that you're doing. You also create, I create videos, so that's what my job is, and I would continue to do that. But I need to make sure that I have sustainable income for the amount or the price of the house. I just can't do it. Like my house is a 2-car garage, and we have four bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, um, and 2.5 baths, and it was not 2.3 or $2 or $3 million. I'll tell you that. I live in Reading, Pennsylvania, and in the outskirts of Reading, Pennsylvania, so not in the city. So we pay higher taxes, but still, you'll lose that house in the long run if you live in New York City or San Francisco for property taxes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The taxes will be insane. You guys really believe this is possible? So yes, if you look at what's taking place, it definitely is possible. So understand that for Terra Luna Classic to reach a penny, right? That's $65 billion. $65 billion of a market cap. Sorry. With a circulating supply that's this high, that's a $65 billion market cap. For this to get to a penny with that circulating supply down, or with it being at like say a $1 billion or $10 billion market cap, you would need to decrease that circulating supply, right? That circulating supply would need to come down into the billions. It's currently in the trillions. And if we're seeing $1 billion in volume, we scroll over here. And this is at a low rate, and not the lowest rate, but it is at a low rate compared to the amount of popularity that goes into crypto. If we see $1 billion in volume, sorry if someone just got an ad because I played an ad right now, but if we see $1 billion in volume, that's going to be $12 million into, $12 million that gets burned off for the tax, right? Now, depending what that price is, right, it could be at 0.0001 where we're at now. It could be at 0.001. We don't know, right? Depending what the market cap is at that time, that's where the price will be. But if we're looking at this price, let's say this is an aggressive price, it's over the amount that it's at now, we would be burning at 12 million, we would be burning 48 billion per day. Now, if you multiply that by, multiply that by 20, you're going to have about 1 trillion that you end up burning off in 20 days, burning off 48 48 billion. Now this is if the price stays the same. Now if the price adjusts, we understand that we'll burn off less, and it may end up being less than $1 trillion in 20 days. It may take 40 days, but the burn is going to be established until we reach a level, I think, of like 10 billion, which I think there will still be burn methods that end up burning off some. But 10 billion with a $10 billion market cap, that is $1, right? That's $1. So if we get to a $10 billion market cap and we get to $1, that's 10 billion supply. 10 billion supply multiplied by the $1 is $10 billion market cap. You can definitely get there. Creating use cases, creating the ability to utilize Lunic in a form of payment, which we are seeing already established, and we are going to see more that gets established there, and then possibly finding a way to relink the two, Lunic and USTC, finding more stability within it, more security within it, and this can go so much further, so much further. So yes, it definitely can happen. If you're burning off $1 trillion in 20 days, and then you literally take that and just multiply that by 6 or 7, right? Multiply that by 7, that's 6.7 trillion that you end up burning off in a matter of, how much is, 140 days. In a matter of 140 days, you burn off everything there, basically all of the circulating supply. Obviously, you still have the total supply, which is, I think, 6.9. I think it's 6.9 trillion. Yeah. So you still have to continue to go there until you get to 1 billion total. So yes, it can happen, and it most likely will happen. And this is why we are seeing this hype, because of the fact that this supply will decrease, this popularity will increase, this market cap will increase, the use cases will increase, the connection, the USTC will increase, the algorithmic stable coin or the algorithmic connection hopefully will be stabilized and be secure, and then this will get back to a form of normalcy, right? Without even utilizing Terra Luna 2.0. So yes, it can happen. Can you predict 1.2% tax implementation date? I don't know that. From what I heard, no start date on the 1.2% burn, but I think the 30% monthly burn starts in August. I put $80 on Luna Classic in the crash, holding till it hits 1 million. Yeah, I don't know how much you have if you put $80 on it. Do you have multiple millions? If USTC repegs, do you believe it's possible for Lunic to run past $1 due to the repegging? So it's not only about the repegging, because the problem with UST repegging, it's not going to repeg unless Terra Classic decreases the supply. Because, well, I lied there. It can repeg, but it's not backed by anything. If it does repeg by itself, it is not backed by anything. So it's literally just an investment that's not going to be pegged to the dollar, because nothing brings it back up to that level. Like for other stable coins, you're using actual currency to back it. For this, you were using a stable coin, or you had a stable coin and you were using the cryptocurrency to back it, to where anytime you saw that peg lost, you would add something. You would basically print more Terra Luna in order to increase the value of USTC. The issue is USTC will not have that backing, and it will function like a normal cryptocurrency. That's how it will function, because it has no type of backing right now. But if Terra Luna or Terra Classic runs past $1, gets to $25 or $50, well, that repegging can definitely happen, because the value of Terra Luna Classic is so much more than what USTC is. You can have that algorithm kick back in and basically say that for every 1 USTC, you would have 40 or not 40. Let's say for one Luna Classic, you would have 40 USTC. So if you needed to add more value to it, let's say it did get up to $1 and then depegged down to 98 cents, you would basically take more Terra Luna Classic and sell that in order to buy USTC to increase that to the price it's supposed to be at. But you have to find some sort of better security, because if they attack USTC again and they attack Terra Classic again, then we're in the same situation that we were just in, to where they have to remint all of these coins, mint billions of coins, and then we end up getting into a horrible situation. And this is why just because it gets back to $1 or $10 doesn't mean that this couldn't happen again if they don't create something that's more secure, right? So that's why people saying, oh, I'm not selling till this gets to $100 is ludicrous, right? And the reason why it is because anything could happen. This could collapse again because something is not secure. So you need to make sure that we establish something that's more secure when it does connect back to USTC. Hopefully all of that makes sense. I know there's a lot there and there's a lot of speculation on both sides, but Terra Luna Classic has to get back to a point of normalcy in order to see USTC get back to being pegged. That's what has to happen. Terra Luna Classic, then USTC. It may seem like USTC is reacting, carrying Luna Classic, but it's not. The reason why it's jumping 100% is because it was at a penny, and it's treated as a normal cryptocurrency right now. There's no type of stability to USTC. It's not a stable coin. Even though it's listed as a stable coin, it's not a stable coin right now. It's functioning as a normal cryptocurrency. They stopped the minting. They did stop the minting for now. But when things get back to normal, they could start the minting again to keep USTC at its level that it's at. Unless they're going to look at USTC as its own investment out there. And they could. They seriously could. USTC will never repeg without cash reserves backing it. Exactly. So not only cash reserves, I think they need both. Just like they need the algorithm, but they also need some sort of cash reserve. Because I don't see, every algorithmic stablecoin failed in the past. It just doesn't work. Bro, once attacked Luna except Do Kwon, he withdrew each month $80 million. That's why the price crashed. So just because you withdraw from something, I understand where you're coming from, but just because you withdraw from something doesn't mean that that's the reason why it 100% crashed. If he's withdrawing $80 million a month, that's because he sees, and I'm not saying that he's right in doing that, because he's not. And I'm not saying that he had a legitimate reason to do that, because that's a huge form of greed. But understand this: if you withdraw something that doesn't affect the price in a big way, because $80 million, worth of a withdrawal when there's well over $1 billion or $2 billion or $3 billion, maybe even way more than that in a day, ends up not being as huge of a factor. Even though it is in the end, and it seems ridiculous, and it's huge greed, it's not that much of a factor. Let's say you had 30 days in the month and you had $2 billion every single day in volume. $80 million within that month is nothing compared to the $60 billion that went through in volume in that month. So yes, it is, for lack of a better term, fucked up that he did that, but that's not the reason why it crashed. The reason why it crashed is because USTC was attacked. It was UST at the time. UST was attacked, and the fact that you have to keep minting coins makes Terra Classic less valuable. He took out money from Terra Classic, or it was Luna at the time. That's okay for him. Now, if he took out billions of dollars every month, then I would be like, that's the absolute reason why Terra crashed. But the addition of 6 trillion, 6.5 or 6.9 trillion coins, because I think there was only what, a billion total coins out there, even less than that. Maybe, yeah, I think it was way less than that. So adding 6.9 trillion coins is the reason why everything crashed. So attacking USTC, seeing USTC drop in value, minting more coins, and not getting that back to the repeg state. So you have to continue to mint more coins. And once it gets to a low enough spot, like if it gets to less than $1 or less than the value of what UST was, that's when it was all over. Like you would have to mint so much more Terra Classic in order to get USTC back up to a peg state. And that's exactly what they tried to do. They should have stopped and realized that it wasn't going to work. But if they did that, then Terra Classic wouldn't have much of a push as it does now. His video said he would take Luna out. But taking 80 million, setting up the playbook to destroy it, he said he would. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to defend him. I'm just letting you know that in the grand scheme of things, when you look at a single month, $60 billion in volume versus $80 million that was taken out, it's not something that will solely crash the position. Even if he wanted to take it out, it's not something that will solely crash the position. I'll just let you know that the main reason why everything crashed and collapsed to where it was, not something that, the initial crash that happened, because that could be, a factor of a multitude of things. But when it comes to the ultimate crash, it was USTC not being able to hold its value. That was the main reason why, Terra Luna crashed. Just like every other algorithmic stablecoin. It was destined to happen if you didn't find a way to secure it. But I totally understand where you're coming from. It's completely messed up that he would take that much. But if he was truly looking to crash it, he would have taken a lot more. I mean, in a shorter period of time. So I'm not defending him in any way. I don't like his decision-making skills. I sort of am okay with what he built, because if he didn't build it, we wouldn't be here where we are today, seeing the value of where Luna Classic is. But yeah, it wasn't the 80 million a month that totally crashed everything. It was whatever billions of dollars that wherever those billions of dollars came from that attacked USTC, that made USTC lose its peg multiple times, and seeing Terra Classic print trillions of coins. If Terra Classic didn't print trillions of coins, this would be easy to find a way to come back. Because let's say that USTC was attacked and they saw it coming and they were just like, let's let it happen. Let's let everything crash, right? We're not going to mint any more coins, because if we mint more coins, they're just going to attack it more, right? You see what happens. And now they decide that they still have a billion tokens that are out there. Well, now that billion tokens, if you get up to a $10 billion market cap, that's $10. That's every time you want to buy more USTC, you can basically take one Luna Classic and buy $10 worth of USTC, which is 10 USTC, to raise the price up to a higher point. So but it would have been tough to do that, because the whole algorithm was a factor of trying to save USTC. If we put in a long at this point, would you say holding onto that long until it reaches our levels is a good idea? Can you take profit scenarios? So what do you mean? If you put in a buy order at this point, when you say a long, you mean a buy of Terra Luna Classic and bought at this point. And yes, I mean, you would be able to take, I don't know how much you're looking to put into a long position. You either take a certain amount of money, so it depends, like $100, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is. Yes, you would be able to take profit during, these different stages, reaching, a half a penny, 10 cents, $1, all of that stuff. So I don't get where you're coming from there, but I hope I answered that question. We're in a bearish downtrend. We are. We are for everything. It seems like besides Terra Classic. I mean, if we look at, let's say, the last day, if we look at where we were at this peak point, I mean, we were definitely 0.00015, so almost on our way to 0.0002. But now we're down to these levels, and we haven't really seen a massive decrease like we're seeing with everything else. It's kind of more of like consolidation where we are. Why is CRO a good investment? CRO has a lot going for it because basically what you're doing with not only their platform with crypto.com, but also factoring in DeFi wallet, also factoring in their NFTs, right? You're using CRO as a form of payment just like you would with BNB. So kind of like what Shiberium is pushing for with Bone and saying how these gas fees are going to change the world and change how Bone is looked upon. And I understand that. It's great. It's not really great, but it's okay for Bone holders. But CRO is going to be used as a form of payment, even though the fee is low and you pay a certain amount in CRO through the Cronos network. Um, you're still using that as a form of payment, which is good. You have to hold CRO to spend CRO. The volume is a good thing, as well as staking CRO and gaining a passive income with their platform. No matter what, they will always have some form of a passive income, whether it's 6% or 12% or 3% or something. You're always going to be able to gain something out of holding CRO. And the platform itself just gives you so much to offer. Now, they did take away some of the staking benefits for some crypto coins, but CRO is still a big part of it. So I still think CRO is a great investment there. It's currently at a very low price of like 12 cents and has like 25 billion tokens. And crypto.com is one of the top players when it comes to exchanges. You look everywhere in any sports arena, literally, it's brought to you by crypto.com. Especially when you look at the crypto.com arena. So their marketing is on point. Their website is usually on point. They try and keep things sustainable, and it works. Could you give your non-financial advice at what level should one get into Lunic if it goes down? Um, well, I don't think these are bad spots to get into Lunic where we are, right? 0.00013. I think it's horrible to invest on an uptrend. So while things are trending upward, understand that this is actually trending down from where it was at its highs. However, you know what I was gonna say. However, now it looks like it was trending down. So it kind of broke that stage because typically you see a higher high, so a higher high, a lower high and a lower low, but the lower low hasn't come yet. It's more of a consolidation right now. You're not seeing that lower low because the lower low would have been about 1200 or less than 1200 there, so 0.00001200. But what you're seeing here is a level of 1300. So it looks like it's sort of breaking that. So what I would have waited for is when you see an increase, you wait for that pullback. And then that's when you feel good about getting into that investment. Even if it does continue to go down, you feel better about getting into that investment because you save so much money investing at this point rather than this point. So I would probably say 0.00012 would be a great spot to make a move in. But you never know what's going to happen because, again, it looks like it broke the potential trend of a downward spiral, and it's more consolidation right now. I'm asking if you can create a take profit scenario for anyone longing Lunic for when we break its previous high so we can keep our long positions. If I can create a take profit scenario. So basically like this, I just want to know what the scenario is. So I can always create a take profit scenario for anybody, right? Because I have this spreadsheet to where either you can create it, right? I will post this into Patreon today, I will remember to do it. Let me go ahead and type that in. Post Terra Classic spreadsheet. Spreadsheet to Patreon. So yeah, I'm gonna post a Terra Classic spreadsheet to Patreon today. And you can use that take profit scenario anytime you want to, but I can create this, and if someone has 10 million, someone has 20 million, someone has 150,000, right? We can see how much you can gain there, right? Yes, it's only worth $9 right now, but that 150,000 could be worth so much more in the end, as long as we see that grow, as long as we see this get to a certain price point. And you could take profit in any case. So hopefully that's what you're talking about. I'm really having trouble understanding exactly where you're coming from. You don't have to send a super chat for the next one. I just have to find your name. Just let me know if I'm in the. Thank you for the super chats, though. I really do appreciate that. It helps me. It helps me easily get to whatever question you have, because it comes up when it's $5 or more. It comes up on the top of the chat, and it's so easy to just click on, and I can just read it right away. um, he's talking about using leverage in Lunic. Wait, what is this? I have a few questions. Where can you find these proposals of a 1.2% burn, and also who is making these proposals? Is there a community driven proposal? Sorry for the multiple questions. So I believe it's validators that are creating these. Uh, Correct me. I think someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but I don't know what the term is or what their title is that are creating these. But it's a community supported proposal. But I don't know if it's necessarily a community generated proposal. But you can find it on Terra Station. I've been having trouble accessing these because I can't get into the classic breakdown. I know I select the globe and it doesn't let me select classic, so it just changes it to either U.S. or a different country, and it doesn't let me change it to classic. So I wanted to look at it myself, but anytime I look at um, the links, it just takes me to the Terra 2.0 section. It used to take me to where I needed to get to before Terra 2.0 was launched, and now it just takes me there. So I have an issue with that. But you can find it. It's definitely somewhere. I know Happy Caddy Crypto on Twitter has posted a lot about it, links and different images. So if you want to go and follow him for a lot of that research, you can definitely do that. He also has a YouTube channel where he breaks down a lot of this stuff and gives you a ton of detail behind it. So I'll admit that I don't do the best research into all of this. I try and do as much as I can and get as much information as I can there. But when things are started, um, I'll know about that. It's just all the in between detail to where it's like um, little bits and pieces of coding and all that stuff that's updated, and um, different updates on what's happening there, smaller updates. It's not something that I'm going to make a video on or anything like that. Um, but it's something that I may be aware of because I do also follow, his page as well as, and I follow Terror Rebels and stuff like that. So once I do get that information, I try and make it known. If we can repeg to $1 today, that would be great. I don't think that's going to happen. Have you tried emailing them? What are we talking about? Richard is Is Lunic your first ever investment? If USTC can get to a peg again, Lunic will be worth $88 mathematically. um, what? Let me hear those that math, because that doesn't work for me. I mean, it can repeg if Lunic gets to a point to where it's worth more. Let's say if Lunic is worth just as much as USTC, and USTC holds the value of a dollar without, um, yeah, I'm trying to think about this. If Lunic gets to, let's say, 10 billion total tokens, which would be the same amount that USTC has, if it gets to that point, then it could definitely repeg. Um, but it also it has to have support for itself. I don't want the algorithm to kick in until you have hopefully less than a billion tokens that are out there. But I know that this 1.2 really only goes until 10 billion tokens. And then you kind of rely on any other factor that's out there. And getting to $100 when there's 10 billion tokens out there, that's definitely a difficult thing to do, because that's $1 trillion market cap at $100. But if you get to 1 billion, that's $100 billion market cap. If you get to less than 1 billion, then that could be, a $40 million market or $40 billion market cap. Please tell me you didn't sell your car. Hey Matt, is it true once Lunic breaks 21 points, um, it has no resistance, so could fly? There's a gap fill, so I would say no. That's always difficult. People always say once it breaks a certain price, because it has no history in between it, it could fly. Yes, it could move, and it does show that you have a gap fill in there, but you're going to fill that gap somewhere, and you're going to fill that gap with a new resistance within 21 to 86 or something. So that's not 100% true. People will always say that, where it's like, you could say that about anything, where you're like, oh, well, you know what? Terra Classic, if it hits $120, it's going to fly, because above $120, there's no resistance. Well, no shit. It's never been above $120. So if it's never been above $120, doesn't mean that it's going to fly. It's going to create a new resistance point there. So I understand where they're coming from. I'm sorry for the cursing, by the way, but I understand where people are coming from, saying that just because it gets above a certain point, it has no resistance because it can fill a gap. I never understood that unless you're on the downtrend. Filling gaps on the downtrend makes 100% sense. Filling gaps on the uptrend is not something I see. If you look at 10 positions that have a chance to fill a gap on an uptrend, probably one of those positions will fill that gap. Other 9 positions will find a resistance point within the gap to kind of, I guess that's considered filling the gap. Um, so I don't know. So I guess 9 positions would fill the gap and 1 position would fly. That's what I mean when I say that. So it doesn't make sense that people would say just because it gets to 21 or above 21 that things will fly. We've seen them say that about AMC, where it's like, once AMC gets above $14, this is flying to 1,000. It's like, no, it's not. It's going to find a resistance point. There's a ton of resistance points that you could find, different scenarios that people are saying they're going to sell at. It depends when people are going to sell, right? $21, I guarantee you there's probably a resistance point at 25, because that's a significant point to where it's a fourth of $100. That's just how it goes, right? And then you also look at $33. $33 is a significant resistance point, because that is a third of $100. So you got to think logically here. Basically, I want to long Lunic long term, and take profits along the way, or should I just buy the token? I'm long term either way, but want max profits. You want a long Lunic long term. What do you mean by long? Or should I just buy it? Typically, the term long is connected to buying the position, right? Going long is buying the position. um, and that's where I'm struggling right now. What do you mean by long? You want to long Lunic long term. You want to buy Lunic long term, or should you just buy the token? I don't, that's so difficult to break down because I don't know where you're coming from. I appreciate the super chats, but you can say this in a regular, well, I probably missed it. If you want to become a member, it's easier for me to see your chat then. Like all the chats that I usually read, I definitely try and read a lot of the members first. So if you want to become a member, I used to go to members only. It's likely to get to 10 cents. I'm pretty new to this channel. Or is it likely to? Yes, it is likely to get to 10 cents. With everything that's going to be implemented, yes, 10 cents is definitely something that I see as a um, a point to where we get to, especially at 10 billion total supply. Yes. I'm more interested in buying Shiba right now, and I think it's a good buy. So I think taking profit. So going long on Lunic or buying Lunic and taking profit along the way is the better option than buying it and holding long term and, you know, selling all of it at one certain point. Taking profit along the way makes you feel better about how much you're holding. If you're holding $2 million and you already took $400,000, you're going to feel good about the fact that you took a certain amount. Or if you're even taking, you have $2 million and you're taking one. Thank you, Michael Evans, for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Or even if you have $2 million in there and you take $100,000, it's much easier for you to settle or have your mindset on, you know, holding what you have in there because you already taken $100,000. I'm gonna 5x long on KuCoin. Okay. Happy Caddy in the middle of the night said there was no reason for this push. For USTC, there's no reason for the push there. There's no logical reason besides hype around what can be. Because people love rumors. A lot of people hate news, but they love rumors. You see news and people don't react to it. You see rumors and a ton of people react to it. I have Terra Luna in my trust wallet. What is the best way to cash out when I'm ready? Should I convert it to ETH? I seem to get screwed whenever I try and cash out. So if I were you, if you're looking to cash out and make it a realized gain, I would convert it to a stable coin. And the reason why I would convert it to a stable coin is because it's stable. And you can push that stable coin to any platform that you want. And then you can cash out on a certain platform. So with Trust Wallet, I don't know the ability to actually cash out your money. But I know that for me, anytime I wanted to actually cash out money, I would do it in Coinbase. So move everything to Coinbase and then cash everything out. But that's just me. So I don't know how like same thing with MetaMask. I would move everything to Coinbase and then cash everything out. Even if I have to pay fees, I just move it. But I wouldn't convert it to Ethereum unless you were looking to put a certain portion back into some cryptocurrency. So say if you have your Luna and it's hitting certain portions or certain levels, you can convert it to Ethereum. You can convert it to BNB. You can convert it to whatever you want. But just know that those positions that you convert it to are also at risk of moving based on what happens in the market. Safest place to store Lunic outside of exchanges. I like using MetaMask. You can do it in any wallet. So Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Terra Station Wallet, just any place that's not an exchange to where if the exchange goes under, you're at risk of losing everything. Even though it's less likely that those exchanges will go under. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Yep, no problem, Michael. Michael, it depends on what's linked to your bank account. Yes, that's exactly what it is. I love watching your live streams. I also learn from it and want to thank you for that. Keep up the positive vibes, Lunix Rocket. Yeah, yes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the super chat, and I appreciate everybody that appreciates my live streams. Right? Um, I can't say that I'm the most knowledgeable person, but I do try and get you accurate information. And if I don't know something, I will tell you I don't know something. I try to be transparent with you guys, and I'm glad that you guys appreciate everything that I'm doing here. We have a ton of likes, and that's a great way of showing your appreciation. Even just being here is showing your appreciation. So thank you so much. It seems like I don't know if TikTok is TikTok actually going well. Someone comment on TikTok and let me know if the connection is okay, because there's 5 people watching, and I want to make sure that the connection is okay. Because I don't have any comments here, but I know that we were having connection issues, and right now it's showing red for connection. Lost connection. Try switching between something and something. I don't know. I couldn't read that fast. Sorry, confusion. I mean buying Lunic on KuCoin futures 5x margin and holding long term, then taking profits along the way. Is that doable rather than just buying the token? I've never done it. You're buying Lunic with 5x margin. I don't trade on margin. There's probably especially long term. I'm definitely not doing anything long term with margin. So I would say no. Buying it outright is probably a better situation because you're risking the money that you have. Now, if you're going to, I mean, that's how the wealthy make money, is by loaning themselves money. But it's so tough to look at that and understand that a lot of that is not your money. You're buying it on 5x margin. So I would say just buying it and holding long term would be good. Even if you do believe that this is definitely going to make a move in the short term, it's just too much risk, right? I don't tell anybody to invest in something like that or risk that much. It's just too much risk, right? You want to gamble to an extent, because this whole thing, in the beginning was definitely a gamble, and now it's looking more like something that is is going to happen, right? It's not just a gamble, right? Where it's like, oh, this could 50-50, or a very low percentage chance of this getting to a dollar or a penny. But now with everything taking place, the 1.2% burn, the proposals passing, and all of that stuff, it makes it more of a reality. So now that gamble has gone from being at 5%, where people believe that this could take place, to now being at 50 or 60%, maybe even 70%. How do you avoid capital gains tax on your investments when you have to cash out millions? Any ideas? So the only way you can avoid capital gains tax is, I mean, by losing money. And even if you lose money, you still can only avoid a certain amount. So let's say you make $1 million in one scenario, and then the next investment you have, you lose like $20,000 or something. You can only really factor $5,000 into your taxes. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I've never really had to do much more than that. Um, so I don't know how that plays out if you do, but I think you can only factor $5,000 into your taxes. It's frozen. Oh, can you hear me at least? Well, that sucks. But yeah, I don't know any ways that you can get around capital gains tax. I just know that if it's a long-term capital gains tax, it's way better than if you had short-term capital gains tax, especially if you're gaining millions of dollars. So, um, if you're looking at this as a business standpoint, let's say I make $1 million in a business, if I reinvest my money into the business and treat it as an expense, let's say I decide to buy a warehouse or something like that and actually spend all the money from my profit, it's technically putting the money back into the business, so it goes into expenses, which I shouldn't have to pay a massive amount of taxes on. Should be more of a write-off as a business expense, which I have to, depending what I buy, equipment, depreciation, all that stuff. BTC just broke 20K. Yeah, it broke 20K a couple of times. 19, if it goes below 19, then that's definitely something where we have to factor in where those lows could kick in again at like 17K. And I don't think we'll see it break 17K, but there's always a possibility. Just get a loan on your investment and don't sell it. That's how rich people avoid capital gains tax. True. When Elon decides to offer to buy Twitter, he took out a loan on his Tesla stock. Yeah, well, that's how they do that, but they also have to have money to back that in order to do that. But yes, you use other people's money in order to make money, but that's only if you know what you're doing there. CRO to hit $2. Yeah, we definitely need that. Lunic in that football crowd voice. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Baby Doge? I own 1 trillion tokens. It's been pumping, but what are your thoughts about it? So I held Baby Doge before. I feel like anything that really, um, feeds off of another by name, it really doesn't sit well with me. It treats itself as a version two without actually being a version two, and that's a problem. It's like, hey, you know what? We made a Dogecoin, but it's a little bit better because this is Baby Doge. It's like, well, you're just trying to be Dogecoin, but you're not actually Dogecoin. So I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. I invested into it a very small amount. I think it was like $25 for the potential of what could be done within the position. But yeah, I'm not invested into it. And I'm not saying that you won't gain any money out of it because people have gained money from it. It's just not something that I look at as a viable investment. Um, let's see. Luna gets to $1. We'll all be rich one day, maybe. Yes. I mean, probably not all of us. There will be a lot of people that sell at certain points just because um, Terra Luna is a scam, like 2.0. Or are you saying like just Luna is a scam, Terra Luna Classic? Um, yeah, there will be people that sell way before it, before a penny, and just get rid of everything because they feel like that's the most they've ever seen, and it's understandable. But there are also people that will sell portions of it and gain a lot, and there also will be people that are very greedy and sell at the right time and make a lot of money. That's great. But then there's also going to be those same people or same type of people that are very greedy, sell at the wrong moment and feel like it's going to come back from whatever highs that it's at. And it's going to drop to a point to where it settles. And people are going to be like, oh man, I could have gained $200 million, but now I only have 2 million. But either way, you still gained something. I mean, 2 million is still freaking life changing money. You can pay off a lot of things. I just don't want to deal with my student loans. That's what I don't want to deal with, which I have to deal with now, but I don't want to have to deal with it. Can you do a video on how you do your crypto taxes? There are a ton of videos on that. I can do a video on how you do crypto taxes, but I think there are actual tax experts that can explain a little bit better, like CPAs that actually explain things a little bit better. And I don't want to um, say that I teach one subject like better than the other, especially if we're talking about something as important as taxes, right? There's always a way that you can make taxes better. There's always a way that you can probably find a way to save money on your taxes. And I might not be the best way. I watch a lot of those videos, so why not recommend some of those videos to you rather than me explaining it? Does that make sense? Yeah, there's some good tax experts out there. Clear value tax is a really good example of a great tax expert. Um, there's a couple of CPAs on here that are really good. Would you support a 2-to-1 burn tax plan for Shiba? 1% tax on buying transactions and an additional 2% tax burn on selling transactions. Yeah, I would agree to a little bit higher than that. I would agree to a 2-to-2. I would agree to a 2-to-3, whatever. But the point is that right now, what we're doing with doing the burn portal and why they say that burning wouldn't work and burning wouldn't be something that we look at a lot. The reason why they're saying that is because people are burning their own money. People don't want to burn their own money. Well, thank you for becoming a new subscriber. I couldn't hear it because I have the sound off. So thank you for becoming a subscriber, whoever did. But yeah, I think I support that, but the burn portal doesn't do what they were thinking they would get out of it, right? To where we would be happy with the fact that we're still burning off our own money. No, because people still have to make that decision to do so. If you go and buy Shiba Inu and it burns off automatically, let's say you buy $100 and it burns $1 of that, that would be amazing. If you sell Shiba Inu and it burns off $2 of that, that would be amazing, right? But it's forcing people to burn rather than just giving them the option to burn. Matt, what does 8K mean in your name? I don't know. I tried to just do 8 because my number in football was 8, but nothing. And my other football number was 81. That's my mom. I gotta call her back later. Um, 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 everybody's asking for something. Everybody's asking for money. I'm not saying my mom is, but everybody's asking for money. Getting some texts. um, uh, some more texts. Oh, some from different people. That's crazy. Hi Matt, two questions. What are some good index funds to invest into once we take profits? And on average, how much should we expect to pay in taxes? I always factor in 50% if you're going to take if you're going to take any type of profit on anything. I don't care if it is even long term. I still factor in 50%, and then you get surprised in the end to where you don't have to. Um, uh, Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I read something. And I hate when I do that. Um, so yeah, I always factor in 50%, even if it's long term. And if you do that, then you get surprised when you get to tax season and you have to pay those taxes. I'm running out of steam here. A lot of good index funds, a lot of people that do invest into index funds is Vanguard index funds. So just literally type in Vanguard index funds in Google, and you'll find some, and you'll be able to get a breakdown of what index funds to invest into. Just something that's low cost, something um, that you won't have to pay too much into. But then you're also going to capture a lot, whether it's like an average of 10% or 8% or something like that. So I think you should start there, and then you could start to expand out, and that's what I do, but I do want to expand out to other places. But yeah, that's probably the best option I would say. Start out where everybody else is starting out, and then you could start to move into other pieces. You could even move into different ETFs and different dividend paying ETFs or dividend paying positions as you do look for more passive income strategies, because it's not only about just the index funds that you're getting into, but also about other things that are more sustainable. Um, something that will have slow growth and give you that standard 10% over the year, or even 5 or 7% or something like that. So I would start there and then work your way to different places. Hey Matt, Conpay crypto, that doesn't sound good. Conpay crypto looks like real utility and new payment system. It's on Bybit. Would appreciate your thoughts. It's taken off since launch. Thank you. Is it? I guess it since it's on Bybit, it's probably on Coin Market Cap because it actually has other exchanges that it's on. Whoops. So Conpay, right? Currently, you can't get a breakdown of the circulating supply and market cap, so that's not a good thing. There's only 397 people that are watching it. It's down 44%. Um, so yeah, from 100 or sorry, $1.33 down to a low of $48 or 48 cents. Currently up to 71 cents, but it's still down 44% on in the day in the last 24 hours. You can see the total is 3.2 billion tokens, which is not horrible. Don't know how much of the circulating supply is out there, but let's see its history. So it launched this month, so you don't really have too much history to go off of. You have seen an increase, but you're seeing it down a hell of a lot from where it was at these highs of $1.50. It resisted twice from $1.50 and now is down at some of these levels. I don't have enough history to tell me a ton of detail there, but let's go ahead and look at the amount of holders. So there's only 7 holders within this position. And I don't know why you said it took off, but there's only 7 holders. 96% of one position is held by one wallet. Why? 96%? That's something that I could never, ever get behind. And again, there's only 7 people that are holding it. It's insanely early. Um, so no, I wouldn't say that that's a position that I would invest into. I mean, if you even attempted to put this, let's take the contract address, right? Let's take this address and let's throw it into token sniffer, right? You throw it in the token sniffer, this is going to come back a 0. If it, and no offense, if you're a massive part of that, uh, I put Stoken Sniffer. I put an S in front of it. Token Sniffer. So if you literally go into tokensniffer.com, let me bring this up. Spending a little bit too much time on this project, and there we go. You're gonna see that. I mean, con is in the name. It's gonna come back a 0, right? There's everything, right? The owner wallet contains less than 5%. No, it holds 96.6%. No liquidity pools found, so you don't have a liquidity pool for it. Um, I no, I can't get behind something like this. Thank you for the super chat, though. I appreciate that. I really do. What are your thoughts on? Wait, is the downfall because of the meeting of PAL today? Um, it's a possibility. I didn't even know that there was, but it's a possibility. Um, I guess, yeah. There's actually a coin slash token called Metaverse Index. Is it good? Different Vanguard positions that raw status is in is VUG, VTI. I'm still working OT today. 7 holders. Yeah, it really took off with 7 holders. Um, no offense. Again, no offense. Um, is it down? Oh, I read that. Do you think it will go back to old prices or an old price? Like Lunic will go back to an old price? I mean, it's difficult to think that far. I would say no because we're looking for a 10 billion total supply right now. And if you factor in, let's say, if you can find a way to get to less than 10 billion, then yes. But right now, I wouldn't say that that's in the cards. I've never seen a token that only 7 holders. Yeah, me neither. 5 million coins at $400 for purchase. Um, 5 million coins at $400 for a purchase. What do you do for a take profit plan? So let's say you're saying you have 4 million coins. Take profit plan. What would I do in this scenario? Well, this would probably be with less coins that you have, which 4 million is still a good amount. With less coins that you have, the more that you have to wait if you're looking to take a massive amount of profit. So for me, I would literally wait until 1 cent because if you're investing, you invested, so you bought a little bit higher than this point. So it must have been at 0.001. Yeah. 0.001 is where it's at. So $400 that you would pay for this. Let's say this does get to 0.005. Well, now that's $2,000. Would you take profit? No, I wouldn't. It's only a $400 investment. So it's something that is more of like more closer to go hard or go home, or um, you know take a little bit more profit as you go up, but you only take profit at higher levels. So for me, I would wait until it probably gets to at least one penny, and then I would factor in if I wanted to make another investment. Only if I wanted to make another investment, I would take about 1,000 or maybe $5,000 worth and keep $35,000 in there. So let's say I would take 300. That's 3 million. I don't want to take 3 million. I would take let's say 300,000 or maybe even 500,000. Right, 500,000 and leave 3.5 million in there. That leaves me with $5,000, a cool $4,500 over my profit, over my initial investment, or 5,000, or sorry, $4,600 over my investment, and now I can put that $5,000 into another play. Um, I wouldn't even worry about reporting that if I were you. Let's just kind of cut that piece out, but I wouldn't even worry about that. It's $5,000. So then you come down here and you start to get to some of these higher numbers. That's where you start to factor in. You probably want to wait because you captured $5,000. You can wait for a while. So what I would wait for is probably somewhere around the 1 million level, and I would take $100,000 out of it. So whatever that ends up being, I don't know how much. Let's take another 300,000. You take 300,000, that's about $100,000, a total of 105 or $104,000 that you end up pocketing out of it, right? So now you're left with 3.2 million. So as it does get to 2 million, that's where you start taking more. Maybe you can take a little bit more, maybe another $200,000 worth. But then when it gets to $1, that's where you could probably take another larger portion. So this is where you start to this is where you start to think, should I take another 200,000, depending how long it takes to go from here to $1? Should I take another 200,000? If yes, you can take another 200,000, maybe take let's say 400. Oops. So let's say you take another 300,000, you have 2.8 million that's left. Well, now that's where you start to look at it at this, maybe a little bit further than that. And then you start, you're okay with whatever profit you've taken. So that's $400,000 that you ended up capturing over that period of time. You're probably happy to hold on to the 2.8 for it to get well above $1. Or if you want to sell at $1, then sell at $1. That's 2.8 million off of a $400 investment, right? So if you wanted to take everything that you had, that's too much. You want to take everything you had, that's $3.2 million out of that period of time getting to $1, and you're fine. You don't have to go any further after that. You won't avoid any taxes, really. You're going to see that you're going to pay basically, depending how long this plays out, right? If this takes a year and you made that investment now, and let's say you end up selling that investment a year from now and making that money, well, now you have a long-term capital gains tax. However, if it happens in less than a year, well, now you have to pay half of that in taxes. Depending where you live, it could be even more. So that's still good. You know, $3.2 million that you end up gaining. That is amazing. Welcome, Anthony. Well, thank you for being here. Good time to insert ads. That's what it told me. Let's see. 1 million Luna Classic for a little under 150 is a good investment. Most of us spent a lot more on things that can't make you no money. You're missing out if you don't buy Luna Classic right now, says David Smith. It's a good point. Where do you think Luna Classic will rise to? Depends what time period you're talking about. I think if you're talking about within the year, I expect to see decent sized burns going through and a lot of push. I expect it to get to a $3 to $5 billion market cap, even with the current circulating supplies, just because of the hype or rumors behind it. So, and then I expect a lot more when the burns get factored into it. Is GST token still a good investment? What is GST token? I probably know it. I just don't know is it Coin Ghost or is it GST coin? Or is it Game Stars? Or is it the Gemstone? Or is it green? What, I don't even know what that is. Soul? I don't know what so maybe, because there's a lot of them. Um Oh, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, definitely follow me on Twitter. I wanted to end the live stream at 10 o'clock and I'm 11 minutes over. So, guys, make sure you hit the like button. This was a longer live stream today. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more videos like this one. I would love to get to 200K subs. So, if you guys want to hit the subscribe button and get me to 200K subs, I would love it. I'm at 177, I think. So, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Perry8K. We will have some videos posting later today about Lunic and see what type of information we have to share with people. But I'm gonna get out of here, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya. Oh.